Okay, welcome to another episode of FLAVR Q&A. Today I'm going to talk about Rollei CR200. Now, this is an E6 slide film product released by Rollei, and out of all the films that were shot in this book, this one is the one that definitely caught my attention, and it has a really interesting look. So it has a very, you can see, this is, you get this yellow tinge, and it's a positive film, so that's what it looks like as it's been developed. Color corrected, you get this kind of an image, and it's filmic. I mean, it's like a painting. You also get this sort of, the way that this book was shot, we used softbox, single strobe softbox with grid. So it really controls the fall off in terms of anything outside of the initial subject being lit. It pretty much controls light beyond the subject. So you can see that the fall off into the background is exacerbated by the slide film itself, and but just the tone, and you can see with the color passport as well, the colors are really, they're really muted. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. That you can still quite easily you can see, like, you'll see on this side how you can actually determine the separation, I guess, in terms of shades from white to black. So you've got 5 stops here. It's much harder to differentiate the stops beyond, beyond this one. So, which can be seen in the other side of the passport. So it's a very, it's just such a unique film. And as you can see from the actual, the over and under exposure, it would be really interesting to see what this film is like when it is shot over maybe half a stop or even a full stop. And it gives a result which is unique. It's very, very unique. There's even, even something like Sensia, which is discontinued, has a similar look, but it's just not quite the same. And it's the skin tone out of this Rollei CR200. It just sort of, it just melts. It really does. So it's one of the films that really caught my attention in the project, and it's definitely a film that, given the opportunity, I'd love to just experiment with in terms of recreating that kind of Rembrandt effect, especially especially within a scene. So, like, a number of people at a table, and sort of recreating that Rembrandt effect with like one light that's just shining in one corner, and fills out across the scene or the image that you're capturing, and like, there's a lot of films in the book that look very similar, and there are reasons behind that, but this is definitely one of those films which is incredibly unique. Really, really unique. And it's like, from correct exposure, you probably only have maybe, 4 stops worth of latitude in the whole film. So it really, I guess if you're using it in a controlled environment, so if you're using it in a controlled environment in a studio with flash or with lighting, artificial lighting, then you'd have to be very, very, very careful. Unless you're looking to exaggerate that result, you'd need to be really careful about how you expose the film. And I might try shooting some of this as a landscape as well, because it'd be really interesting to see what kind of an effect it carries through. Whether it carries through, like whether it just makes everything look like it's sort of in the twilight. It could make your scene, which is shot in the middle of the day, look like it's shot at 5 minutes past sunrise, or 5 minutes past sunset. So I think there's there are creative opportunities which are available for a film like that. It's just unique. Like there are a couple of other slide films in here that. Actually, there's a couple of color neg films as well that sort of tend toward that, but they're more. It's more about the post-production. Like say for instance Kodak Pro Image 100, you do get sort of that skew, but the actual image itself, as it comes straight out of the can, is still quite a well controlled and balanced. A neutral, it's actually quite a very neutral film. So, like I would sort of classify the Rollei CR200 as not experimental, but it's definitely something. It's a shift. It's a shift from like a standard color palette in the film. So, I'm pretty sure they still make this. This one expired in 2018, but I'm pretty certain that they still produce this. So maybe you ought to give it a try. Yeah, or have a look on the website. So if you don't have a copy of this book, you can go to the getflavor.online website and you'll find this film, and then you can have a look at the images that are in the book that I showed you earlier in the video. So, if you have any questions about this one or maybe another film that's on your mind, leave it in the comments down below. And take care, keep shooting, and see you in another video.